I wanted to call this Clatsop County's war on whistleblowers, or perhaps I should call it the Clatsop District Attorney's war on whistleblowers. Today, I found out about an October 6th motion to dismiss hearing on basis of Veritas versus Schmidt in Clatsop County for a different person charged under 165.540, this outdated law that's been eviscerated by this higher court ruling. And in what I could look up, I believe this case to be a case of, let me just be sure I have it. It's Emily Reinicke, I believe. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. So, I want to get it all up on the blog, actually, because I was researching her case, something to do with the school board and the transportation district. And what just really made me run to the computer to tell you guys about it is we're talking about female filmmakers, basically, looking in on corruption in their small town. And we have a 68-year-old district attorney who does not believe women should have access to technology, or he wants to find fault. I mean, if he wants to be a video editor or an executive director of their film company or something, go to Hollywood. This is really a misuse of the district attorney's time to try to be like an internet moderator of, oh, you shouldn't have pasted this Facebook video up, or it appears, okay, so let me get over here. Oh my gosh, my eyes. Clatsop County woman prosecuted for recording and sharing meetings of the Astoria School District Board and with the Sunset Empire Transportation. So this really actually got some media coverage. And so what's crazy about her case and my case is her case came quite a lot earlier. She's been suffering this agony, probably, of having this pending case for longer than me. I found a Facebook post where she completely, her Facebook post is great. It's, what does she say? Okay. Astoria's, Emily Reinicke, and it's Reyneke. Astoria's school board is corrupt and is costing the district a lot of money. Tonight the board met in executive session to hear a complaint against Craig Hobbs, but they'd only allow 10 minutes to present everything. Jeanette Sampson and Heidi Wintermute, whose hubby is the young judge Kirk Wintermute, would rather lose millions in district funds than wait for their experts to research answers that they admitted to not knowing if board members didn't believe what was presented in the all too short time. I commend the parent who also stood up and voiced her concern, but sadly, the executive session further proves that the Astoria School Board will not actually do anything substantive about her concern or handle my case appropriately, nor will they answer her questions that she asked of the board. So, regarding her recording, she says, "You're a fool that doesn't know how to read the law. Remaining in the physical presence of a recording device is consent, as well as the fact that unless someone specifically states particular information, it's completely allowable per Oregon DOJ." Well, okay, so that's just kind of like a comment thread. And I'm going to try to call her tomorrow. I found her publicly listed cell phone number and hope I don't weird her out too much to be like, oh, hey, by the way, I hope you rock your court case, because if you win your motion to dismiss mine, it automatically will trigger. Well, the DA just wants an excuse to get rid of my case, too, because he probably knows these are kind of bogus. It's the vibe I'm getting. So, it was like kind of good news, but then furthermore, Lane Borg is her attorney, who was briefly mine, and I was like kind of honored. I left him a message like on a voicemail like back in 2014, because I was appalled at the defense crisis back then, as that it was affecting my friend Ben, who had been beaten by some Portland police down in Portland. So, okay, U.S. Observer. Let's talk U.S. Observer. It's a sort of a home printed tabloid style. Shows up at every house in the county, like every postal address. Somehow he's got some funding to put this amazing thing out. It's got kind of a smattering of things all over Oregon, but often delves into Clatsop County problems, corruption, and it's very inflammatory. The first time I found it, it was like Seaside around 2020, and I was like, what the heck is this? And I gave it a read, and I wasn't totally agreeing with everything, but I felt like, oh, I should call this guy. This guy's interesting. And so I've been checking it out. I just found this most fascinating detail. So Judge Bo Peterson ordered Clatsop District Attorney Ron Brown to turn over information about his witnesses being confidential informants. Basically, in the principle of it's something called like I think, is that the same principle as Brady? But like you have to have any exculpatory evidence, basically exculpatory details, and Ron Brown just like completely avoided the court order from Judge Peterson, and I was like, oh, the plot thickens. So kind of trying to piece together the divisions that may exist in the courthouse. So I guess the pressure's off a little bit because basically I have to just sit back and wait for Lane Borg to win, and Veritas already won. And if it doesn't, then I get to try to win. So it's like I get to go play basketball in the court, and that would be like in early November, something 3rd or something. But okay, so this would be like worst case scenario. Say she doesn't win her October 6th hearing, which I'm going to go to, by the way. Got to. Then she'd go to trial. She'll have like a little pre-trial conference, then go to trial mid-November. By that time, I would be pleading for my motion to dismiss. After he does like a two-day DUI or something, and then only an hour for me to get my motion done. I'm just like, only an hour? Okay, and then my other small victory is I write the director of the harbor for like this case update that the district attorney doesn't want me to ever have any need to go to the domestic violence service as a condition of this case, where I'm like, but I'm at the domestic violence center because men from Lifeboat keep harassing, assaulting, verbally abusing, or discriminating against me. So one is verbally abusing me on the phone, I record it, and now I'm going to be not allowed to receive services? Why don't you just actually fix the problem of the abuse of males? Not, well, we're going to punish the women with denial of services. It's so completely backward and deviant towards any respect of federal civil rights or gender equity or any modernity whatsoever. It's almost just like I'm laughing about it. But so what was really cool is I'm like in my friend's car who's going to Home Depot to return something, and we're like blah, 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 into my speak and spell to like send this garbled email. Because I'm basically the Okay, so tip of the hat to this young gent from Texas working in this crazy district attorney's office. He's very decent. And I think some of his little warning signs or smoke signals, he's trying to keep a lid on them, but he's just doing his job. And so he was like, I was like, well, this is just, kind of, I was just very polite about it, but I was like, I need to like, can I just write them and see if we can like waive this whole thing? And he's like, yeah, you can. Or I was like, this is really hard not to have their access to their service. Besides, it's just like so objectionable and ludicrous. He's like, well, you can agree to have them waive this term. So, but basically he's trying to provide me like a plea bargain. Just like $100 fine. So I have to pay $100 for Ozark abusing me. I'm like, maybe like I could be like the film director and be like, Ozark, okay, now it's scripted. Now we want you to like breathe fire like death metal, like into. I don't know. So I was like actually gonna work on a death metal song last night called "You're Not the Only Cult Leader." or something. Like I was at this like, but I brought the posse, and I actually saw Ron Brown getting into the elevator. He looked like he was wearing some sporty old gentleman clothes. He's on the elevator. I turn around, see my friend who's this like probably like really aged gentleman, like handsome old gentleman, and I say, "Hi, Jim." And then I see Ron Brown, and I was like, "Oh, there he is, running off. Are you, Brown? Are you off to the gym? Just couldn't be bothered to come to my case. You just." Okay. And he's doing, and now that I know he's an October birth date, due to the internet, biographical information you can find out, I'm sleuthing that he might be a Scorpio, and I'm like, oh dear, that troubled, plaintive, desperate Scorpio aura. I'm just like, oh, spare me the drama, Scorpio. Come on. But I was a complete wreck, and then the rabbi called at like 3 o'clock right before court, and I was just like, what is the timing of this? But anyway, so this U.S. Observer has a few interesting cases. I'm not so much even agreeing with the tone of one of the cases. I don't necessarily agree with the analysis, but there's one case I'm really digging. Oh, but there's so many like mistakes made in, say, for instance, like, okay, we're going to prosecute you. Now your wife's trying to help your case. Well, we're going to prosecute her too. Like all this like really, and so this poor woman had this like case being leveled at her, and then Ron Brown's office was like shredding evidence that would be exculpatory towards her husband, but not telling, and then continuing to linger the threat of a prosecution. And what I like about U.S. Observer is they say to extort a plea bargain, attempts to extort a plea bargain, because you have to realize even the defense attorneys, for instance, when Kirk Wintermute was a defense attorney, it was customary to serve people into this plea situation as a matter of convenience, and I'm just really against that. If I have like a new mission besides openly talking about suicidality, like as some of us have this suicidal side, I think I'm really, really against the whole plea bargain system. Ooh, it's really just rankling me. And the only way I think it would work is if you like really did something that you just don't want to go through explaining it all in a trial, and it's just like, yeah, I did it. Like, I don't know. What's the point of a plea bargain? It's to me, it's just like a denial of your rights and letting them off easy. And basically, like, say, principles of critical mass. If everybody just absolutely refused to do plea bargains, the entire justice system would collapse. Just collapse. Because it's a bottleneck. It would become so top-heavy and overburdened, it would actually collapse. So just like we all need to stand up to our oppressor, we all just need to like put our brains together and figure out how to build new machines. But okay, I feel a bit giddy, and I'm not sure. It must be the blue moon. But the pressure's off for a while, and I get to like sit back and get through September, and then try to research this case some more. So basically, what did this poor woman do? She sounds like a cool activist lady. Clatsop, State of Oregon versus Emily Reinica. And she's got a cool looking judge. Well, pretty judge. Amanda Benjamin. Wow. Holy smokes. She's a pretty judge. Visiting from Lincoln County. Amanda Benjamin. Yeah. So basically, this lady, Amanda Benjamin, this visiting judge, is going to make or break. But I mean, she really just needs to defer to the higher court and get these cases moved off the docket. They're like a waste of time. Stop it. Stop. Like, technology really isn't that much of a crime, yo. And like, if you think about how crazy the courts are, they have nonstop audio recording. They have police surveillance cam, police audio. They have recorded, like, in custody interviews. They are basically trying to be monopolizing technology. And they're like, you citizens, you go back to the Stone Age and just play with your rocks and sticks. I'm like, no, we have technology too. Like, don't have a cow. So, but just to, I was so focused last night. I had like this big study night where I like read like 10 or 15 articles off of tech. Oh, look at that Bindi, isn't that cool? Tech Dirt. And I love Tech Dirt. Tech Dirt, when I think I found it in 2008 or 9, I was just like, this is the best website ever. Sometimes I disagree with their sly little opinions, but that's okay because, oh my gosh, they're so snarky. And I noticed something that I never just really processed. Every single title of every article has to be witty and funny, and that's like a trademark hallmark of Tech Dirt. Mike Masnick, what a cool dude. And then Tim Cushing, I was reading his. So I was looking at specifically all kinds of wild and absurd prosecutorial mistakes regarding like persecuting like bullied children for wiretap, for like recording an abuser or recording bullies or recording a bullying teacher. And it was giving me quite a bit of, and then I was also like researching the far out dark side of like DEA wiretap surveillance to basically um, make the basically obtain civil asset forfeiture in order to just pretty much enrich them. But they have this like special inside deal in Riverside County with like one judge who's there like, you just sign off on a bunch of warrants so we can like super snoop, but we're really just basically stealing all this stuff from whatever alleged drug dealers were doing. It was just like, oh, it was just like breathtaking. And then I was reading a little bit of, I think, ACLU on, the warrantless wiretap and the FISA courts. And is it 702? So I tried to copy a bunch of stuff into the blog. Oh, this is great. This is great. LAPD best response to leaked recordings of council members' racist remarks is going after Reddit users. Okay, that's just, I mean, it's painful, but it's like, okay. DEA taking advantage of nearly 40-year-old law to obtain information about WhatsApp users. DOJ asking court to force Facebook to break encryption on Messenger voice calls. See, I told you guys. Whoops. Oh, God. Oh, dear heavens. Oh, yes, and the drama about the Twitter warrant for Donald Trump's Twitter account and the battle with Elon Musk. And basically, Mike Masnick is just having a time over how bad Elon's legal team is. And then I guess he's quite a funny guy, but John Yu's legal rationale. Warrantless surveillance is basically a DUI checkpoint, but for terrorism. And I don't know why I'm to the point where I can just find the Bush 6 amusing, but hey, we're there. Okay, federal agents place secret recording devices in at least 3 locations around the entrance to the San Mateo County Courthouse in Redwood City without first getting too new to Tech Dirt. DEA running massive wiretap program almost entirely through a single California county court. How's Riverside County? So I called my dear sweet friend lawyer who won my labor law case that got started really in 2007, and he was like, "Don't be prosy, just say I request a continuance for a defender." And I'm like, no. Yeah, I mean, it would have been fine too, but his basically, like, there's a whole thing where you sometimes just have to do what you have to do, but I do really respect him, and I do think he kind of talked me down off of, like, I was almost hyperventilating when he finally called, like, at lunchtime. He talked with me for 18 minutes, but, when the judge just sort of asked me, I was like, it was just kind of like airy silence. Like, it just blew through the courtroom. It was like very patient and soft and calm. I realize now one of my supporters was hard of hearing. So now, because I was kind of going for that just soft-spoken, gentle, polite, not... It was all right. It went okay. But anyway, that who cares about me? That's sort of boring. Yeah, like, oh, Ron Brown's war on whistleblower women. So this chick, Warrenton woman... Okay, so what's the drama? So I called it. So what's the drama at the Astoria, Oregon School Board? Is the prosecution of Emily Reinicka another Kirk Wintermute conflict of interest? Small town politics. So Chair Wintermute, this is, I mean, I remember seeing that Wintermute's, I call her Babe, is like all up in the school board. But like, if she's got an enemy on the school board, can she just serve her up like a softball to the DA to kick through the justice system? That's kind of not a good proposition. And I don't know much about any of this. Like, I don't know what the real drama was at the school board. So I'm just new to the scandal, but I feel kind of privileged because if I weren't in this stupid court situation, I wouldn't be finding out about all this other drama on like the other side of Astoria. So, pulseconfessions.org. So, like, I'm kind of like a closet case for the U.S. Observer. Like, I've been reading it for years, but like, I don't want to admit it. But tonight I was just like, I'll copy paste it all up in the blog in case their servers ever go down or something, you know, make a little historical archive. And then this poor guy had the meth apocalypse move into his property, then basically swat him, falsely alleging he was shooting at them. He faced like 6 days in solitary confinement, bloody hands, like brutality. He had no criminal record. His little meth, heroin, squatter, drug dealer people that had destroyed his life and his property were confidential informants, so whatever they said went. And you know, this is a little bit relevant to some of the stuff going on in, I mean, not this case is very, very extreme. Nobody's hurting me or messing me up that bad in that kind of a way, like not claiming I'm shooting them with guns. I mean, like, that's crazy. And I actually know a few of the law enforcement that were involved with that raid that was sort of like a botched raid. Then there was like so there was a whistleblower in the case about the wife who thought she would be under prosecution. And there was a whistleblower. Oh gosh. I'm gonna have to get these cases straight because there's one is Simonson and one is Samuelson, so that's a little bit, they're both S and S sons. But okay, so this lawyer who died, Lauenberger, unexpectedly passed away. But this is great. No one in the district attorney's office has complied with Judge Peterson's order. And then whoever this guy, Chamberlain, Steve Chamberlain, he's no longer with the DA. Oh yeah, and my prosecutor like stole my arraignment. They didn't even properly actually read the arraignment, or they didn't ask me if I pled anything. I mean, I was like, was I in one of those like maritime jurisdictions where we're like, nobody's really that into this case? It was just like, the judge's body, well, he's kind of a bit of a foxy old 70-year-old man, and I think he liked me. I like it when people like me. That was just cool. And yeah. Well, they're not that Steve Chamberlain. Clatsop DA. Let's see. Why do I care about him? I think I'm looking for the one that was cute. There was a different cute one. Criminal law. So, can you believe they sent some Daily Historian? The young reporter with the New Yorker tote bag, who just like, it was just like immaculately coolly dressed in a subtle way, and I thought, that's a reporter. Then I was like, no, that's the Harbor. Then I was like, no, that's a reporter. So I had my knitting needles in my hand, and I just kind of like crouched over, and I was like, And I was just like, I'm so honored that you're here. Thank you so much for coming. But I wrote this kind of like hilarious press release about how the same prosecutor who's like the DA, Ron Brown, who's coming after me, he signed the warrant on Ozarkarag's ballistics test for his pistol. So I'm like, Ron, what happened? So you're mad at me because you know we had a gun, or are you cool with him having a gun, or is just having a gun like a guy thing that I just don't get it that much? Or, I mean, all I ever hear about Ron is he's a Catholic, and I'm like, so I'm trying to like get into his mindset, like deeply get into the deepest recesses of his psychology so I can understand where he's coming from, so I can try to be more compassionate too. So I'm thinking he's just like thinks Ozark's like Mother Teresa and I'm Cruella de Vil. Okay? That's this framing, maybe, and that but I don't know. The judge didn't read my letter. I didn't think he would, but I kind of hoped he would. Like, he's had to deal with like 10 other possibly absurd cases today. But he seems like he's having a good time being a visiting judge here. And he was great. Oh my god, this is so horrible. So when I was researching this judge to get a feel for like whether or not we would click, I found out that the St. Helens police chief was killed. So that was like notable, like really newsworthy cases that got into the local little St. Helens paper. It was really disturbing, and it was some young kid, and I don't quite know why. Don't quite know why. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, well, so I guess that's all. Yeah, I've been reading the U.S. Observer. I've copy-pasted it. I read Tech Dirt a bunch last night. Oh yeah, and I wanted to apologize to everybody about like how hard those Elliott Smith songs are, the ones that I don't know, and I don't know which way to sing them, so I have to just basically keep practicing and keep listening. And so maybe I'll try them again because I kind of don't like doing them unless I do them right, but I'm really just open to practicing, and I feel like the delicacy of his melodic genius it's very soothing and deep and like meaningful. I really enjoy singing a lot, so I think it might actually help me to be a more sensitive person because even like speaking is like singing. And okay, I'm just gonna give mad props to Matthias on one thing because we have our differences. I think she kind of like screwed me over on behalf of a sex pest, but other than being like a kind of a rape apologist type of a person, she does have a melodious voice, and the way she raises her voice and, well, you blah blah blah, it's very like sort of fairy godmother-esque, and I noticed that in Bobby's hearing, and I was like, the people really like the melody of her voice, and maybe she's a good singer too. Who knows what she sings in the shower or in the car or at karaoke. That'd be so fun. Matthias, if you're out there, let's go to karaoke one night. I want to hear what you can sing. And okay, just like little heads up about Brownhill, cute Brownhill, but she was kind of like reintegrating me into my forced marriage with the Carge family when I'm just like, I can't take it, and the screaming and the chaos, and like get me freaking out. It was right as the liver crisis was hurting the brain and blah 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 blah. So this is like way back. So I was like trying to petition for a protective order, and she's all like pretty much like, no, but what about the grandkid? Kind of like, you can take it some more. You're like the domestic servant, right? And they were like, she was like, why don't you just move in with the family? I was like, too many dogs and dog hair and like craziness and messy. And so I've often thought of her role in my continued stint as a like indentured servant slash caregiver slash enmeshed person to be really a Brownhill phenomenon, and because I was ready to run to California. But anyway, like when she's all like acting like Harbor is the victim, this horrible wiretap. when I'm wearing his most atrocious black and white jail garb. But I'm just like, whoa, I got Lane Borg. He's like kind of famous in Portland law. And I was so stoked about that, having him for my attorney in 2 days, for 2 days. Um, even though I didn't want an attorney. But um, she was just like, oh, like, how can we release her from custody? And then I realized when I was observing Blair Henningsgard I think one day I looked at her poster in the courthouse and I was all like, oh, wait, you're married to that guy? I was like, oh, I get it. So I saw Cindy Price. That's Josh Marquis' lady, but she was on city council. She kind of smiled at me. She knows who I am because I kind of like cracked her protest with the Kayla Sandoval came and like grandstanded on the YouTube. Um, in a way, this little event that was like for the plaza after the court deal, it was like city council, all the anti-heritage square. It was just well, can we ever make like a public space? And it was kind of a really cool event, sort of, other than it was like a bit of a snooze fest. But I believe these meetings are important to like get the steam off of society, so people feel that their needs are being met and they're able to be heard. And I saw quite a lot of cool people that I had fun talking to, including the cute, the cute guy. The cute guy. Which guy would that be? There was like that. We're just calling him the millionaire. That's his nickname. But anyway, in the Narcan event, and I got to see my long lost friend Jock, and I got to see Dog, Lucy, Daryl, and Jim, and Jeff Daly came to my court hearing. Whoa, and Brenda, and Canner Dave walked me, and that one time he said to me when he found out Ozark had this like vendetta on me, he was like, but why? You're an angel. You do so much for everybody. And I was like, I need that guy to like support me. And sure enough, I just walked into. I was like, hey, come with me. And that was magical. He's very cute, but like he's like graceful, and he's the one who said I should like dress like I'm a gangster from LA because he's from LA too. And I was like, okay. And then also, he's the one who said I should just like wear a trench coat and flash them and win on my merits. Just like that. And yeah. No, but he was very serious and back to being gentlemanly and not crude. I don't know why everyone was so vulgar the other night saying that we should motion for a change of venue to Annie's Saloon. Oh, I'll never forget that. That was about the funniest joke I ever heard. And Criss wasn't there, and Helmet John wrote me a letter, but then he didn't come. Probably time got away from him. And then like about 4 or 5 people texted me they had to work or they had doctor's appointments or dentist appointments and all this stuff. Oh, and Robert came. And I was like, really? Amazing. Oh yeah, okay, so back to important stuff. I was researching no, I can't believe this. This is so good. I was researching congressional record from 1958. Let's talk about wiretap law. Let's see. ACLU. CIA is a participant in the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Forces. ACLU on Section 702 FISA Actor. Big Brother, the need for a new wiretap law is just a delightful little CIA FOIA reading room. Can we just use the number code 1077067? So it's then it has this PDF attachment, a little bit of syntactical. This file is just getting garbled a bit. So this is just lovely. It's a release date 2003. Document creation date. This is a publication date, 1965. It says Big Brother need for a new wiretap law. So literally, thanks, world, studying the history of wiretap. How fun is that? Oh my god, is this just a long video with, it's not even live stream. What the heck? I don't know why I'm still talking. I think I'm tired and giddy, but I'm still kind of anxious for it all to be over. And then Ozark was in on his video monitor, watching the proceeding, as is his right, as the victim of the terrible crime of me recording a 2-minute video of him threatening to extort me with false charges and calling me predatory. What I'm sensing is he can heal and come to a place of greater peace and growth. And I can't wait to find out more about the shenanigans between judges and prosecutors and the inter-office drama at what I've always thought of as the Kremlin, the Astoria Kremlin. But it's not the Kremlin, it's the Clatsop Circuit Courthouse. And who would be the most Putin-esque person in the courthouse? And like a lot of the nicest people are like the little players, like the office personnel who like file and copy and stuff. And then okay, I'm tired. Have a good night.